Namaste and Jai Swaminarayan. This is a special web series delivered by the Swamis of BAPS Swaminarayan Sanstha. It has been initiated to inspire us during these challenging times with the universal wisdom of ancient Hindu scriptures, presented in a contemporary, bite-sized format. Today, Yogavik Das Swami, originally from Leicester, completed a degree in medicine and practiced as a doctor before taking initiation as a sadhu by Pramukh Swami Maharaj in 1992. He spent 6 years in India undertaking a deep study of Hindu scriptures. He is the head sadhu at the Neeson Temple and has been leading BAPS activities in Europe for the past 20 years. He is a leading and respected Hindu figure across the continent. Currently, he is managing the voluntary effort by BAPS in the wake of this global pandemic. Alongside these administrative duties, he has spoken and written extensively on Hindu teachings and values. So, without further ado, I now hand it over to Yogavik Das Swami.
श्री स्वामीनारायण भगवाननी जय, अक्षर पुरुषोत्तम महाराजनी जय, राधा कृष्ण देवनी जय, सियावर रामचंद्र भगवाननी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराजनी जय, महंत स्वामी महाराजनी जय, प्रमुख स्वामी महाराज शताब्दी महोत्सवनी जय. The month of Chaitra in the Indian calendar is a very special month. Just last week we celebrated the birth anniversary of Bhagwan Shri Ramchandra, who was born in Ayodhya thousands of years ago. We celebrated on the same day the birth anniversary of Bhagwan Swaminarayan, who was born in Chappayane, Ayodhya, 240 years ago. And today, the full moon day, Chaitri Punam, of the month of Chaitra, we celebrate the birth of Hanumanji. Hanumanji is revered as an ideal for all of us to emulate, because he served Ramchandra Bhagwan with great devotion. Hanumanji is revered throughout the world. In India, in almost every village, you'll have a mandir or a shrine dedicated to Hanumanji. At all the Swaminarayan mandirs, as you enter, you will have the murtis of Hanumanji on one side and Ganesh or Ganpati on the other side. Hanumanji is revered by millions throughout the world. Bhagwan Swaminarayan, when he was young, he was born in Chappaya, but at the age of 3 or 4, he moved with his family to Ayodhya. And it is from Ayodhya that he left home after his parents passed away at the age of 11. So during that time, from the age of 4 to the age of 11, Gansham, his name was, he went to the different mandirs in Ayodhya. And one mandir that he went to every single day was the Hanuman Gadi temple, the temple in Ayodhya. Many of you may have been there. There's many steps to get to the top. But Bhagwan Swaminarayan as Gansham went to that mandir every single day for darshan, and he would sit and listen to the discourses given by the pujari of that mandir. Pramukh Swami Maharaj, when he was young, he lived in Chansad until the age of 18. So again in Chansad there's a huge lake. So on the other side of the lake, there's a small temple dedicated to Hanumanji. Hanuman Madi, it's known as. And in that temple, again, Pramukh Swami Maharaj, as a child when he was known as Shantilal, he used to visit that mandir every single day. He used to sing bhajans. He used to listen to the discourses, to the talks of the sages, some who had come from as far as the Himalayas. It was one of those sages who came from the Himalayas. When they talked about the beauty of those places, when they talked about how conducive the atmosphere was to worshipping God, to offering devotion to God, that Shantilal nurtured a wish to renounce the world and visit those places. So that is Pramukh Sai Maharaj. He also used to visit that temple every single day. The temple of Hanumanji in Sarangpur is also famous, and many people flock there to have the darshan of what is known as Kashtabhanjan Dev, Hanumanji. That murti of Hanumanji, the sacred image of Hanumanji, was actually installed or consecrated by Sadguru Gopalananda Swami, one of the senior most sadhus of Bhagwan Swaminarayan. So Hanumanji is an ideal for all of us to emulate. Let us take a look at some of his virtues. Tulsidas, who has written the Ramayana, the Ramcharitmanas, that we often hear. So Tulsidas has written some verses on Hanumanji, which are also famed as the Hanuman Chalisa. Chalis means 40. So 40 verses are dedicated to Hanumanji. And he says, Ke Jaya Hanumana, Gnana Guna Sagara, Jaya Kapisha Tihu Loga Ujagara. That Hanumanji, you are known throughout the three worlds. Jaya Hanuman, victory to Hanuman. Gnana Guna Sagara. Gnan means knowledge. Gun means virtues or qualities. And Sagar means the ocean. That you are the ocean of wisdom. And you are the ocean of virtues. There are so many virtues within yourself that we need to emulate those virtues. Bhagwan Swaminarayan has mentioned some of those virtues in the scripture, the Vaishnamrit. Bhagwan Swaminarayan explains in the Vaishnamrit, section 1, number 59, that we have to have affection for God. But sometimes we don't realize how much affection we have for God. And then he gives the example of Hanumanji. That Hanumanji, he was full of strength. He had so much strength. But for whatever reason, he did not realize how much strength he had until he was told by Jambuwan. Hanumanji got to the shores of the ocean because he was given a special task by Ramchandra Bhagwan that you have to go to Lanka and you have to find Sita. So in front of Hanumanji was the ocean. And he thought, how can I cross the ocean? I can't swim across the ocean. And then at that time, Jambuwan, he explained to him, don't you know how much strength you have? He explained to him, when you were young, you went all the way up there to play with the sun as if it was a fruit. You have that much strength within you. And so he took a giant leap and he managed to cross the ocean. So Bhagwan Swaminarayan uses his example of Hanumanji to explain that we have so much strength within us, but sometimes we don't realize until we are told. Sometimes we don't realize our innate strength, our innate wisdom, until it is awoken by the Guru. Bhagwan Swaminarayan explains in another Vaishnamrit, section 3, number 39. Again, he gives the example of Hanumanji. We know that in the Ramayana, Lakshman was injured. And at that time, Hanumanji was told to bring some special herbs. So again, this was somewhere in the south, or actually it was in the battle, so it was in Lanka. And then Hanumanji had to go to the Himalayas, which is North India. And at that time, he reached there, again using his strength, using his powers, he reached there. But then he, like inverted commas, forgot, which herb do I have to take back? And because he didn't know which herb to take back, what did he do? He just took the whole mountain, which had all the herbs, and he brought that mountain back. That's how much strength Hanumanji had. So you can see that Hanumanji had such strength. We may also have strength. Strength in itself is not important. Strength can be physical strength. Strength can be mental strength. Strength can be spiritual strength. But we must use that strength in the right way. And if that strength is used in the service of God, there is nothing better than that. So Hanumanji used his strength to leap across the ocean. Hanumanji used his strength to uproot the mountain and bring the mountain back all the way to the battlefield. So Hanumanji is revered because he used that strength in the right way. Tulsidas also mentions that Hanumanji, Ramaduta, Atulita Baladhama, Anjani Putra Pavana Sutanama, explaining that Hanumanji was the Dut. Dut means the messenger of Ram Bhagwan. He was no ordinary messenger. Ram Bhagwan chose him as a messenger because Hanumanji was a trusted messenger. And we know that Hanumanji goes with the ring to try to locate Sita. He goes to Lanka. He sees many faces, many figures, but he realizes that this cannot be Sita. When he goes to the Ashok Vatika, he sees Sita and he presents the ring of Ramchandraji. So Hanumanji was a dedicated messenger. He was a trusted messenger. He was a loyal messenger. And that is why Ram Bhagwan chose Hanumanji to go and find Sita. But more than just a messenger, Tulsidas explains, कि राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा. कि Hanumanji was the das, the servant, the humble servant of Raghupati. Raghupati means Ramchandraji. Bhagwan Swaminarayan explains in the Vaishtamrit. In Vaishtamrit section 2, number 62. He talks about different types of inclinations which different devotees of God may have. So they may have what we call Atmanishta, understanding themselves to be the Atma and not this body. They may have what we call Pativratapanu, total fidelity. And they may have Dasatvapanu or Daspanu. Hanumanji exemplified this Dasatvapanu or Das Bhakti because he was a true servant of Ramchandra Bhagwan. In the Bhagavad, it talks about the 9 types of devotion. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam, Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam. Dasyam is one of those 9 virtues. You know, devotion to God is not just about playing manjiras or singing bhajans or giving discourses, but it is about dasyam. It is one of the 9 types of devotion. So Hanumanji was revered as a das, Raghupati ke dasa. He was a humble servant. He had no ego, even though he had the strength, even though he had the power, even though he had the knowledge and the wisdom, but he had no ego. All credit he gave to his master, Ram Bhagwan. That is why we revere Hanumanji. He did not say, I was the one who jumped over the ocean. He did not say, I was the one who managed to get to Lanka. No one else managed to do that. I was the one because I set his tail on fire. I was the one who burnt Lanka. I was the one who located Sita. I was the one that helped Ramchandra Bhagwan and his army of Vanars to cross the ocean. He did not take any credit. Ramanu Kama Karyu Kapiye. One of the sadhus of Bhagwan Swaminarayan has written in one of his poems that the work of Ram Bhagwan was done by the army. Ramanu Kama Karyu Kapiye. And the leader of those kapis was Hanumanji. Yet Hanumanji did not take any credit. The stones that floated on the ocean, they had the name of Ram. And that's why those stones managed to float. There's a prasang that once actually Ram Bhagwan, he himself threw a stone. And that stone did not float, it actually sank. So everyone wondered, these stones with the name of Ram, they are actually floating when they should be sinking. And the actual stone that has been thrown by Ram Bhagwan, God himself, does not float. Why the paradox? Hanumanji, he was full of wisdom. Hanumanji explained that anything that leaves the hand of God loses the association of God. So obviously that stone is not going to be in the service of God. So in this way he explained this paradox. So you can see how much devotion he had. Everything that happened, all credit was given to his Ishtadev, Ram Bhagwan, because he had no ego. We can only approach God. We can only become close to God when we forfeit or when we renounce or shun that ego. A very difficult thing to get rid of. It may take one lifetime. It may take many lifetimes. Tulsidas himself has written, you may have all the virtues in the world, but you still have ego of your own virtues. He has written, Ke kanaka tajyo kamini tajyo, tajyo dhatu ko sang. He has renounced everything in this world. Tulsi lagu bhojan kari. He doesn't even eat anything. Jive manake rang. But he is still surviving. How does he survive? Manake rang. He is surviving on the ego that I am this great. Sometimes you even have ego of your humility. Nirmani pananuman. Muktananda Swami has written, Sabaguna purana parama viveki, guna ko manana ave. A true sadhu, a true devotee of God, even his virtues, which need to be emulated, but he does not have ego of even those virtues. That I have this much devotion, I have this much detachment to the world, I am this humble. If you think you are humble, it means you are not, because you've thought that I am humble. The minute you say that, it means that actually you have some ego of your humility. So we have to go beyond that, and that can only happen when we have firm refuge in God, firm refuge in Guru, and the association of satsang and our scriptures. So Bhagwan Swaminarayan talks about the dasatva panu of Hanumanji in that Vachtamrit, section 2, number 62. Bhagwan Swaminarayan also refers to Hanumanji in other Vachtamrits. He talks about Hanumanji being a yati. A yati is someone who observes celibacy in mind, spirit, and deed. Hanumanji is referred to as a yati. Lakshman is also referred to as a yati by Bhagwan Swaminarayan. That is why they were close to Ramchandra ji, because they followed the conduct of celibacy. Celibacy doesn't mean that you have to renounce the world. We are taught in satsang, ek nari sada brahmachari, that if you are faithful, you are also as good as someone who is celibate. That in itself is true celibacy. So Bhagwan Swaminarayan talks about Hanumanji being a yati. He also talks about Hanumanji being a pativrata, which means what? That his devotion was to Ram Bhagwan. He was loyal, just like you have a faithful partner. A faithful wife is faithful to her husband. A faithful husband is faithful to his wife. So a pativrata panu was also seen in the life of Hanumanji because of his faith, his loyalty to Ramchandra Bhagwan. Bhagwan Swaminarayan explains in the Vachtamrit, section 3, number 39, that devotees of God, like Hanumanji, they are always offering prayers from their hearts. What sort of prayers do they offer? Aham mamatva maya thaki amari raksha karjo. Ke protect us from the effects of I-ness, aham, and mindness, mamatva. Ke I am this, ke this is mine. and give me the company of God. Give me the company of sadhus and devotees who are attached to God. These are the prayers done by the likes of Hanumanji. And Bhagwan Swaminarayan says that we as devotees of God should also emulate those prayers and also wish for that in our lives. And that is why Tulsidas has said, Ke Ram milantu karane jotu bhayo udas. Tulsi shodile sangata santaki. Rama jino ki paas. Ke Tulsidas says, Ke you wish to meet Ram, you wish to associate with God, to find a sant, find a guru who is one with God, and that guru, he will take you to God. We are not saying that the guru is God. Our Guru Pramukh Sai Maharaj, our Guru Mahant Sai Maharaj, we do not worship them as God, but they are revered as gurus because we understand that they will take us to God. They will make our lives sublime by giving us, inspiring us with good virtues, the virtues that we've seen in the life of Hanumanji. And finally, I'll end with something that Pramukh Sai Maharaj often used to mention. In the Valmiki Ramayana, again, just like Tulsidas has mentioned many virtues of Hanumanji, the Valmiki Ramayana also mentions virtues of Hanumanji. And one of those virtues is Buddhi Matam Varishtaha. Buddhi Matam Varishtaha. Buddhi Matam means the wise. And a Varishta means most excellent, most supreme. So Buddhi Matam Varishtaha means one who is supreme among the wise. Now Hanumanji, why is he called wise? And not just wise, but supreme amongst the wise. Tulsidas says, Ke Vidyavana Guni Ati Chatura Rama Kaja Karibe Ko Atura. Ke he was what we say Chatur, and a Vidyavan. Now he had not gone to study any scriptures. But why is he described as Chatur or clever? Why is he described as Vidyavan, learned? Because of his devotion. He did the right thing at the right time, in the right way, for the right person. That is why Hanumanji is referred to as clever or wise. Again, it is not how worldly wise you may be. It is not how book wise you may be. But how wise are we when it comes to understanding spirituality? How wise are we when it comes to understanding that there is a greater power than us? How wise are we when it comes to understanding that this body is perishable? One day it will not be here. How wise are we when it comes to understanding that I know one thing, that I know nothing? That is true wisdom. That is being wise, and that is why Hanumanji has been described as Buddhimatam Varishtaha. One who is wise, not only wise but supreme amongst all those who may be wise. So these are the qualities of Hanumanji, because he had no love, no interest, no attachment to anything but God. And that is why he was only dedicated to Ramchandra Bhagwan. And obviously, Ramchandra Bhagwan's Bhakta, Sitaji, only dedicated to Ramchandra Bhagwan and Sitaji. Once Hanumanji was given a mala, a necklace of pearls. Now, pearls are very expensive, very valuable. And at that time, Hanumanji, when he was given this gift, he started looking, he started wondering, what is this? Now, he knew it was pearls, but he started breaking the pearls. So someone stopped him. Okay, these are valuable pearls. Why are you breaking these pearls? And Hanumanji said, I'm checking. I'm looking inside these pearls and checking, is my God within these pearls? And if my God is not in these pearls, I have no interest in these pearls. This is faith. We know the story of Prahaladji. His father used to harass him. His father used to beat him for worshipping God. And when his father threatened him, and he said to him, where is your God? Is your God in this pillar? And he pointed at the pillar. He hit the pillar. And Prahlad had so much faith. He said, yes, God is in this pillar. God is everywhere. God is Sarva Vyapak. But for Prahladji, his devotion, his faith was such that when Prahlad said, yes, God is in this pillar, his father said, then why can't I see that God? And then God, as Nrsi Bhagwan, emerged from that pillar. So it's a matter of faith. Hanumanji, he said, I have no interest for these pearls because I can't see Ramchandra or Sitaji in these pearls. So someone said that you see God in everything. And then he opened his chest. Like someone has a bypass and you have to open the chest. Hanumanji, without the use of any instruments, but just using his hands, he opened his chest. And then Ramchandra Bhagwan and Sitaji. Those who had faith, they could see that in Hanumanji there was nothing apart from God. So as we celebrate the birth of Hanumanji, what we call the Pragatya, God is also within us, but we have to become aware of that. We have to become conscious of that God is not away from me for even a fraction of a second. Because we are not this body, we are the Atma within the body. And within that Atma there is Paramatma. So when we understand that Paramatma, God is forever within us, and we will understand that through the association of the true Guru, when we understand that, we will also be able to emulate Hanumanji. We will also be able to imbibe the values of devotion, the values of wisdom, the values of humility that Hanumanji had in his life. So we pray on this special day as we celebrate the birth of Hanumanji that we can also imbibe such virtues in our lives.